I want you to watch something.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kulhu Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad wa Lam Yakul lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Thank you very much for welcoming me today.
A man running for the United States Congress walked into a mosque in Queens, New York, called himself a proud Jewish New Yorker, quoted the Quran, and when he stepped away from the podium, the imam prayed.
والفرج فيه للمؤمنين على يديك وقتل الكافرين بسيفك.
And I'm quoting the translation directly. Through your hands comes the relief for the believers, and the of the infidels by your sword. He stood there, the man running for Congress. Now, I'm not here just to make you angry about a politician. That's not the point. Anger without understanding is just noise. The point is this: what you just watched has a name. It has a pattern, and that pattern is documented, not just in the headlines, but in scripture, written down nearly 2,000 years ago. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is bigger than one congressional candidate. This is about a system that is being built in real time, and most Christians aren't watching it. Paul wrote to the church at Thessalonica. He said, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. That's 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Now understand what Paul is describing. He's not talking about a war announcement. He's talking about a moment of consensus, a moment when the world agrees, finally, we have found common ground. Finally, we are unified. Finally, peace. This is the moment he says to watch, because the spirit behind that peace is not the Spirit of God. Here's what I need you to understand from a structural standpoint. Global religious unity doesn't happen by accident. It requires infrastructure. It requires institutions. It requires political cover. What you saw in that mosque, a Jewish politician quoting the Quran while an imam prays over the crowd, this is not a random cultural moment. This is political religious merger in motion, and the people executing it know exactly what they are doing. The world calls it bridge building. It calls it tolerance. It calls it progress. Scripture calls it a trap. Before I break down the system, I need to give you the tool, because Scripture doesn't just warn you, it equips you. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Notice the command, try the spirits. That word in Greek is dokimazo. It means to test, to examine, to put under scrutiny. This is not a passive observation. This is active discernment. You are expected to investigate. Verse 3, every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come. And even now already is it in the world. Already that spirit of Antichrist is in the world. Already in the world. John didn't say it was coming one day. He said it was already operating. Now apply that test to what we just watched. In that mosque event, was Jesus Christ confessed as the Son of God, the only path to the Father? Was the blood of the cross acknowledged? Or was he quietly removed from the conversation so that everyone could feel comfortable? That is the test. That event failed. But here's the part most people skip. Verse 4. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I need you to hold that. We are not exposing this from a place of fear. We are exposing it from a place of authority. But you cannot exercise authority over something you refuse to identify. Here's where I want to go deeper than most people in this space will take you. What happened in Queens is not an isolated event. It's the local expression of a global structure. In Abu Dhabi, there is a building called the Abrahamic Family House, opened in 2023. One compound, a mosque, a church, and a synagogue, side by side, designed by the same architect, built on the same foundation. The stated goal, unity among the Abrahamic faiths. Now think about that from a legal and structural standpoint. You don't build a $50 million interfaith complex without institutional backing, government partnerships, and a long-term governance framework. That structure exists. The agreements behind it exist. The funding behind it exists. This is not grassroots. This is not organic. This is organized. And the same spirit driving that infrastructure in Abu Dhabi is the same spirit that put a congressional candidate behind a podium in Queens while an imam prayed over the crowd. There is a word for this fusion. It's called Chrislam, the blending of Christian and Islamic practice under the banner of unity. And before you think that's an extreme fringe idea, understand that the institutions normalizing it are not fringe. They have UN partnerships, they have government funding, they have media coverage that frames opposition to it as hatred. This is how a system works, not through force at first, through normalization, through repetition, through making alternative look unreasonable. Paul warned Timothy, the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. We find that in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. He wasn't talking about people having a faith. He was talking about people staying in the seats while the doctrine quietly changed around them. The doors of the church aren't being kicked in. They are being opened from the inside. I want to talk directly to you for a second, because this deception doesn't only operate at the political level. It operates in local churches. It operates in small groups, and it operates in individual believers who have slowly, gradually stopped testing the spirits. Here's how you know if this is taking root: in your church or even in yourself. When false doctrine is presented, are you more uncomfortable confronting it than you are with accepting it? When a leader promotes interfaith unity and removes the exclusivity of Christ, do you find yourself thinking, well, he's probably just trying to reach more people? When someone challenges a pastor or a ministry for crossing a biblical line, are you quicker to defend the institution than to examine the charge? That is the lukewarm signal. And it's not about temperature, it's about substitution. The truth of the gospel has been quietly substituted with something that feels spiritual, but requires nothing of you. The spirit of Antichrist doesn't need you to renounce Christ. It just needs you to stop insisting on him. So here's where I land. What happened in that mosque in Queens is not just a political story. It is a data point and a pattern that Scripture told us to watch for. The infrastructure for a one-world religion is not theoretical. It is funded, it is organized, and it is accelerating. You have been given a command, not a suggestion, to test every spirit, to try the spirits, to refuse to let the exclusivity of Jesus Christ be quietly negotiated away for the sake of social harmony. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That means you are not a victim of this deception. You are a watchman. But a watchman who is not watching is just a man standing on a wall. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to see the pattern. Comment below with what you're observing in your own community. We are documenting this in real time together. And subscribe to Info Warnings, because this story is not finished. It's accelerating, and you need to stay informed. Stay grounded, test everything, and remember, you've been warned.